you coming from Kent State, Ohio, Kent State University in Ohio, where today in 1970 we have a very historical moment in history that has to do with protests. So we're currently at the start of the trail. Right around down there is where everything happened that dreadful day where four people were killed by National Guardsmen for protesting here peacefully during an anti-war protest during the Vietnam War. We're gonna walk around the whole thing here as we go, but we're gonna get a good look here, and I'm also gonna read it off. Starting from the top, it says the May 4th Visitor Center is a place to learn and reflect on one of the most divisive events in our nation's history. The gunfire that killed 4 students and wounded 9 others on May 4th, 1970, echoed well beyond our campus, deeply affecting our nation and the world. As you walk through the May 4th Visitor Center and the surrounding National Historic Landmark site, you will learn about the tragic events that happened here on May 4th, 1970. You will learn about the lives of Allison Krause, Jeffrey Miller, Sandra Shaw. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, I probably am, and William Schroeder, another name I'm probably butchering. You will see the story of when we were deeply divided in the era of student protests against the Vietnam War. On May 4th, Visitor Center our May 4th Visitor Center also tells the story of learning, reflection, and remembrance driven by faculty, students, and family and community members dedicated to preserving the memory and legacy of May 4th, 1970. At Kent State University, we are unique because of our history. It continues to guide and challenge us to better our society. I trust the time you spend here will be moving and meaningful and will encourage you to learn more about the events of May 4th, 1970. It also reminds us of the ongoing need to embrace civility, respect diverse opinions, and encourage the protection of our basic fundamental and democratic values. That was written by Todd Diacon, the Kent State University president, as of this year, 2024. Okay, now moving on. May 4th National Historic Landmark Site Tour allows visitors to trace the steps of history, which we are going to be doing today, relaying the events of May 4th, 1970 through text, photographs, video, and narration. Go to may4th.kent.edu for video clips that correspond to the trail markers, or call 330-672-May 4th, that is 6294, to access audio narration provided by civil rights leader Julian Bond. The tour begins in front of May 4th Visitor Center. Follow the Peace Dove waypoint markers, which lead to significant sites in the May 4th story, including the former location of the ROTC building, the pagoda, and the Prentice Hall parking lot. And then over here on the map, we are currently right here. Alright, we're gonna go there, and then we gotta walk all the way around here to get to number 2, and then we come back up. So this is gonna be a fun walk. So we're gonna start with going over here where there's currently people here. I'm gonna turn this camera around while I catch up with you guys. What's going on, everybody? This is why smart people do not want to send the NG who are better trained and more professional today into the current protests. Not sure exactly what you meant there, Jack. But we're gonna wait for. Why is this camera so close to me? Oh, whoa. Okay, technical difficulties. That should be better. Well, I could just cut straight through, but we're here at number 1. Alright, the day the war came home. Down there, they did a event earlier commemorating today. So, the day the war came home. On April 30th, 1970, President Richard Nixon announced that U.S. troops had invaded Cambodia. Students viewed this as an escalation of the Vietnam War. When Nixon had vowed troop withdrawal, like students nationwide, Kent State students protested on May 1st. They symbolically buried the U.S. Constitution, saying Nixon had murdered it. Black United students rallied to discuss harsh treatment of demonstrators elsewhere and warned members to avoid campus gatherings. On May 4th at noon, Ohio National Guard troops advanced on a protest rally. 20 minutes later, Guardsmen killed 4 students and wounded 9 others. College students nationwide reacted with the largest student protest strike in U.S. history. And here's the chain of events picture-wide. President Nixon announces the invasion of Cambodia. In the protest against the invasion, students bury a copy of the Constitution. That is right down there. That is the bell, which we are going to walk up to later. So stick around. Members of the Black United Students warned black students to avoid campus gatherings over the weekend, and in response to the May 4th shootings, hundreds of thousands of students protest worldwide. So, actually, hold on. We're going to read this quote here as well. From Vietnam to Cambodia, from Los Angeles to Memphis, from Kent State to Watergate, the American spirit suffered under one shock after another, and the confidence of our people was deeply shaken. President Jimmy Carter. Okay, so we are going to walk around this way and take the long walk while I start to also relate how this day in history with this location to today in our era of Gaza protests, completely engulfing our nation and campuses across the world. To me, it's a very symbolic thing. Just thinking about how Columbia University is going, UCLA, and like the violence that's starting, and we're all just pissed. And I've been saying it for a long time. Hold on, I got an angle I gotta get. Ooh, that's perfect. Somebody screenshot that. I'm pissed that people can't see what's right in front of our eyes. Like, the people mainly starting all the violence aren't even students. This says, in loving memory of Allison Cross, Jeffrey Miller, Sandra Squire, William Schroeder, respectfully remembered. And then those are the 9 people as well who were injured that day. That's Alan Canfora, John Cleary, Thomas Grace, Dean Collar, Joseph Lewis, Donald McKenzie, James Russell, Robert Stamps, Douglas Rentmore. Okay, so where's the path that goes that way? Okay, so it goes and wraps around this way for some reason. And there's somebody just hanging out in a, whatchamacallit. I'm going to take a shortcut. Actually, I'm going to go down this way. Okay, so that was hilarious. Who the hell is that? Looks like a Trump supporter. Automatically labeled. What the hell's going on here? Okay, so now we're walking along the field where it all went down, where thousands gathered that day. Just like thousands are gathering in fields like this across our nation. And I've always been a man of wanting to come up with some kind of a solution, but I can't come up with a solution for this. I don't think anybody can, other than putting an end to all wars. But we all know that'll never happen, because it's not just the war complex and the war business model. It's also the war on terror. That there are real freaking terrorists out there who just want to wreak havoc and kill us. These people protesting here are freaking manipulating the LGBTQ community as well. These LGBTQ students standing up don't even know what they're standing up against, or standing up for. The people over in Gaza would behead them the moment they came out as gay to them, and yet they're still supporting those kinds of people. They're still supporting Gaza. The people above ground are being used as human shields. I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this shit on YouTube, but I am. I don't care about that, but we're coming up on the second one now, so it's perfect timing for me to shut up.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Just shooting a little video. Okay, so we finally made it to the second board here. All right, the ROTC building site. So I believe is what's behind me right here, or it could have been right here, and we're gonna find out. Anyways, all right, by any means necessary. Following a disturbance in downtown Kent on Friday, May 1st, 1970, the mayor asked that the Ohio National Guard be put on standby. On Saturday evening, the Guard accompanied firefighters who put out a fire in the ROTC building Sunday morning. Governor Rhodes and public officials vowed to use any means necessary to maintain order, and 850 guardsmen occupied the campus. Sunday afternoon, sightseers took sovereign photos of the guardsmen that evening. Guardsmen used tear gas and bayonets to disperse students, staging a sit-in. The next day, May 4th, the Guard prepared to disperse a rally on the Commons. Officers ordered troops to load their M1 rifles. And this is the sequence of events here. As you can see, the burned ROTC building. And then you have the students fraternized with guardsmen on Sunday, May 3rd. They were having fun. Sunday evening, students hold a sit-in at the intersection of Lincoln and Main, which I believe is right there. On May 4th, guardsmen prepare to advance with gas masks, bayonets, and loaded guns. Now, to move on to the next plaque, we gotta go this way. Hope everybody had enough time to look at that. No, I actually do not have my flag with me. I'm just wearing red and with a blue hat. Wait, I got white stripes on my pants, I guess. Yeah, man, I'm wearing red, white, and blue. Oh, and by the way, hi, Mom. Okay, so coming up on the next plaque here. This is the way that I actually came in, so I kind of already got a feel for this area before I went live. So here is number 3, where it's talking about the Victory Bell, freedom of speech and assembly. By noon on May 4th, 2,000 to 3,000 people were assembled peacefully on this very site, some to protest the escalation of the Vietnam War in the presence of the Ohio National Guard on campus. Most were observers. Others felt connected to the counterculture movement. Some were campus activists. All were exercising their First Amendment rights of freedom of speech and assembly. Meanwhile, 103 members and 10 officers of the Ohio National Guard lined up 500 feet away. Campus police officer Harold Rice repeated General Robert Canterbury's order to disperse. The demonstrators remained. General Canterbury ordered the guardsmen to advance. And this is images from what looks to be the top of that hill. Guardsmen line up 500 feet away. That would be the guardsmen. Young woman passes through this campus hub as troops ordered demonstrators to disperse. That's just a random picture, and then that's the guardsmen advancing on the rally. Oh, and here's the time frame from 11 a.m. to 12:05, all in an hour and 5 minutes on that day. There was no feeling of danger, impeding catastrophe. We were not doing anything that made us imagine the outcome. Joseph J. Lewis, one of the wounded students. So yeah, over there you can see the bell. That is at the bottom of the hill that the students were atop. And I gotta zoom this back out, and I'm having issues. There we go. Okay. Now, I take it as though this is a piece of art. The Kent 4. Okay. I'm gonna read this down here. All right, you guys look up at that. No, we definitely do not need a repeat like Kent, Nurse D, but I fear it's coming. Reading the plaque. The Kent 4. After considering the manner of death, 4 rifle barrels, I took these symbols of destruction and turned them into 4 new emblems for the viewer to ponder. A trumpet of deliverance, judgment, and freedom. The ancient Hebrew ram's horn shofar. Oh, we know what those are. 2. A dialogue between man and God. The central unit of the memorial is the symbol I. It faces directly upward, stating the unity of God, also our submission to His will. On the large outward-facing arms are small hook-like attachments, which, together with the large forms the ideogram, whatever that is, right there in the middle. 4 times. Another reminder of him at the moment of death, El Shaddai, the All-Nourisher. The 3rd is signs of personal private grief. 4 small flame elements enclosed by 2 large arms of steel. Signs of public grief. 4 outward-facing flame elements, and an individual but grouped memorial flame containers, indicating that man dies alone. However, in this instance, death as identical and communal. That's what that says down there. Now, I am trying to understand that. Does anybody understand what I just read? Four horns. Okay, I see that. Solo I. Huh. I think it's pretty interesting. Again, this piece of art is called the Kent Four. Now we're going to walk on up here. And then after we read this plaque, I'm going to walk down and take a look at the bell. Alright, plaque number 4. Law and Order and Dissent. Bearing rifles students did not know were loaded, guardsmen advanced towards the crowd. People walked or ran ahead. Troops fired tear gas, which dissipated in the wind and open area. Several demonstrators threw back canisters. Company C moved towards the Prentice Hall side of Taylor Hall. Guardsmen aimed rifles at a young man who reportedly threw rocks. Troop G and Company A followed the larger part of the crowd up Blanket Hill between Taylor Hall and Johnson Hall. At about 12:10 p.m., the rally on the Commons was dispersed. The guard continued marching beyond Taylor Hall. Among those leaving the Commons are students Alan Canfora waving a flag and William Schroeder behind him with a notebook in hand. Flag waver. These students will have to learn what law and order is all about. That's a tough line to this. Tough line. I'm not speaking on that line. Guardsmen aim at a retreating student on the hall, or on the passage between Taylor Hall and Johnson Hall. And student Allison crawls to the right of the pagoda, gestures at the guardsmen. So, looking up here, that's where they were. You can see right there that little canopy. Where's my finger? Right there. Yep. Okay, that little canopy there was right there. Okay, trying to get my camera to adjust properly. Sorry for the bad things. Okay, yeah, it's not wanting to go properly, but we'll go on over here now. And I actually got a nice picture from right over here too. We can look at some of the signs that are there now. No, I gave up on most politics right now. I'm waiting for the presidential debates. Oh, well, the signs are here. I wonder. That's not what all that's about. Designed, funded, and built by Epsilon Psi chapter of Alpha Phi Omega National Service Fraternity in 1955. And then this would be the middle spot between the protesters up the hill and the National Guardsmen over there in this direction. I believe that would be to the east. I actually missed it.
Well, I couldn't get up there. A friend of mine died, and I had to take his ex-wife to his house.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, he's ringing the bell.
I don't know whether I can make it up the hill. I had hernia surgery last Wednesday. I rode in on my motorcycle. I'm gonna try.
If you want, I'm right here with you.
Cool.
So I am actually doing a live video right now.
When these people got shot.
Well, I'm
And
sorry to hear
there
that,
was 3
and thank you for
CIA
your service.
guys embedded in that National Guard unit. You can tell who they are in the picture in the history group.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Camfora got wounded here. We decided to seek the truth. As technology got better, we figured out what was going on. There are 3 unidentified guardsmen. Couldn't do any facial recognition, nothing. And they knew how to shoot through gas masks.
Oh,
None of
damn.
the guard was trained to do that. They came here. That was the clue that we uncovered. And you can see them. They're on the left side of the pagoda towards us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they're the ones that shot those kids.
Well, I'm actually getting ready to head that way. I've gotten up to number 4 on my video tour. I am actually live streaming right now.
Cool.
You're not on. You were when you were ringing the bell.
I don't care.
But yeah.
I can tell everybody out there in your observation land, people that wear the United States uniform fight for your freedom of speech. The students had a right to protest. They shouldn't have been shot at. We were appalled when we were overseas. And you can ask anyone in a uniform. They're fighting for your freedom, not to kill you.
Well, God bless you, sir. I love the freedom of. I love the freedom of speech.
We've been fighting the Russians since '51. The Mongols couldn't speak Chinese; they were Russian. Every time I went into a combat or a special op, it was always Russian interference. The Middle East, Yugoslavia, Grenada, Nicaragua, all of South America. We've been trying to undermine this country forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're at
It's not
the
China.
power of free speech.
Yeah.
That is.
Brings out the truth.
You're right. Not only that, so Russia actually last year or this year already, I can't remember
They
which.
invaded Ukraine.
Well, yeah, but
a sovereign nation.
they locked up over 500 people just for what they've voiced on
Exactly.
social
They've
media.
been trying to take over this country because we're the last standing, strong democracy that prides ourselves on free speech.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to agree with you, but I'm going to defend your free speech.
I hear that. So, I got a question for you though. If you had to give one piece of advice, knowing what happened today in 1970, and also seeing what's happening today in our world right now with all the same similar style protests, what would it be to prevent another May 4th?
Trust the truth and trust no one.
Trust the truth and trust no one. Thank you, sir. You have a very blessed day, and thank you for your
Because they're
service.
trying to take away our guns, our mobility. Look at what they're doing at Kent State. I had a guy out there arguing with me that I parked in the way of that truck. Shit, that box truck, he had a mile. He just wanted to be an ass and called me an asshole. You know what I would have done? I should have just busted him in the mouth and went to jail. People don't have a respect. They don't see who are the spiritual truth leaders. They're misled by the media.
Mm-hmm.
They're talked to like sheep. COVID was nothing but the chicken flu that I got vaccinated for in '98. When a virus mutates, it changes shape and complexity. It looked just like the chicken flu from '98. So we were perpetrated with a fear-mongering lie that, probably adjusted the presidency, uncovered that these voting machines are not sane. They're not able to be validated. And believe it or not, a congressman and I went to Diebold, filmed the voting machine, put in 8 yeses, 1 no. Nixdorf engineer kind of laughed at us. Came out 8 no's, 1 yes. Every county programs their own voting. That's only 1 person per county you have to get to fix an election. And that's nationwide that uses computers. How many people know that?
So that is a very good point.
And what does that boil down to? Restricting our freedom and democracy, which infringes on free speech. I gotta make it up this hill somewhere.
You got another hill to make it up. Can you point me into the direction of the 5th plaque, though? Like, that's the 4th one, and then
there.
that's the 7th.
That one.
That one's the 2nd.
Well, then it gotta be.
Or no, the
this way.
3rd. Like,
They gotta be up here.
okay. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, though, sir.
Huh?
It's been a pleasure talking with you, though, sir. And I'm right there with you on the voting systems.
3 people that graduated with me in high school that were here that day.
3 people?
Yeah, 3 people. I knew Tom had got shot, and 2 of the guys I graduated with high school was in the crowd when this happened.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's a powerful moment. You enjoy your day. Trust the truth and trust no one. Yeah. I think that was a good one. I see. Yeah, so this is number 7. He clearly doesn't know where number 5 is because we were just at number 4 over there. Let's see. Oh, look at that. 5 is in the direction he is heading. So, no, I didn't bring my flag today, guys. Not having a vehicle sucks. And there he is. Turns out number 5 is up here somewhere. Yep, right there. I remember reading something about it earlier today, actually. I'll take a look at that right after I read this sign.
Shooting armor piercing. The only ammo that was issued to the National Guard all had brass bullets.
Huh.
It drilled through this 3/8 plate like a drill.
I'll make sure I share that with them. Okay. Ooh, this one's a long one. Number 5. Practice field, end of the advance. Demonstrators and spectators left the commons and moved off in various directions. I definitely just dropped my jacket. Students continued to pass by Taylor Hall on their way to class. Troop G and Company A marched to the practice field. They stayed there for 10 minutes. Some knelt and aimed at a dozen vocal demonstrators 150 to 200 feet away in the Prentice Hall parking lot. Student Alan Canfora waved a protest flag at the gentleman. Flag wavers. Okay. Or at the guardsman, not the gentleman. Leaving Company C station between Taylor Hall and Prentice Hall, Major Jones easily walked past demonstrators to the practice field. General Canterbury conferred with Jones and other officers. Canterbury then ordered the troops to retrace their steps up Blanket Hill. And this hill right here, it goes down, so we're not necessarily going to see it. That's Blanket Hill. 13 seconds. As the guard marched back up Blanket Hill, members of Troop G clustered and looked back toward the practice hall parking lot. At 12:24 p.m., the troops reached the pagoda. Guardsmen on the trailing edge of the right flank, mostly from Troop G, wheeled 135 degrees in unison to face the parking lot. In the next 13 seconds, 28 guardsmen fired 67 shots. Guardsmen killed Kent State students, I've already read the names, 218 to 396 feet away, and wounded 9 others, and then the rest of the names were lying prone 258 feet away. Dean R. Collar was permanently paralyzed. So reading from here, members of Troop G aim at vocal demonstrators in the parking lot. That's Troop G right there. And then the parking lot's down, would be that parking lot. Student Alan Canfora waves black flag of protest 150 feet from the kneeling guard. General Canterbury huddles with officers before moving back up Blanket Hill. Reascending Blanket Hill, members of Troop G cluster and look towards the parking lot. Freshman Joseph J. Lewis gestures at guardsmen moments before he is shot twice. During 13 seconds, 28 guardsmen fire 67 shots. Students dive for cover, some unsuccessfully. Students would have acquired good right arms like Mikey Mantle's to have reached the guardsmen with even small stones. James McQueener, Kent State, what happened and why? I just stood there and thought to myself that surely they must be shooting blanks to scare the crowd off. Then I saw the bullets kicking up dirt in front of me. I just turned and ran. Ron Steele, Kent State freshman. Next one's over here, but I'm pretty sure it's actually going to be written on that plaque too. So the gentleman I was talking to, he said that this is where we can see a bullet hole from that day. I'm pretty sure it's what's circled there on that. Is that it? That is it. And there's the bullet hole with some fine art around it. Now, you can actually see on this side, if you look close enough, that's the exit side. And then it's not on this side. There's that little lip right there. You're very welcome, Nurse-D. That's up there. Nurse-D, it was pretty much a spontaneous thing I decided to do this morning. Okay, so this is called the Solar Totem. I'll read this in a moment. I was just scrolling through Twitter and I saw May 4th, and then I saw Kent State, and I'm like, I'm about like 30 minutes from there. Let me go. So Solar Totem number 1 was constructed on campus in the summer of 1967 as part of a National Defense Education Act, Creativity and Industrial Arts Institute. The project was coordinated by Akron artist and Kent State alumnus Don Drum in '56. Participants of the Institute Industrial Arts teachers from all over the United States brought to Kent for the 6-week program constructed the sculpture. The director of the Institute, William Bates, said Corten steel? I've never heard of Corten steel. Was selected for the project because as this material ages, it forms a protective coating and will not fail because of rust one day. I guess. It looks kind of rusty to me. On May 4th, 1970, Solar Totem number 1 became one of the iconic symbols of Kent State history, as its steel was pierced by a bullet from the National Guardsman's rifle. Drum said, "I'm sorry that all the bullets didn't go into the sculpture instead of hitting the students." The sculpture is now part of the 17.4-acre site recognized on the National Register of Historic Places. And again, there's the sculpture. Try to get it from top to bottom without tripping. Okay. And somebody's at the next plaque, so we're gonna wait. What's going on? Oh, no. My phone be doing that. It is annoying. So, IDs. I'm pretty sure the reason why they brought the live ammunition is because they were ordered to. I've read a little bit about this morning, and wanted to come here and do my obvious actual research. Yeah, this is what I'm finding. So as far as why they were ordered to actually put live ammunition in. Prentice Hall parking lot. 4 dead and 9 wounded. On May 4th, 1970, 12:24 p.m., Ohio National Guard troops turned in unison at the pagoda to face the Prentice Hall parking lot. For 13 seconds, 28 guardsmen fired 67 shots towards demonstrators, spectators, and passerby. Guardsmen killed Jeffrey Miller, 218 feet away, Allison Cross, 326 feet away, William Schroeder, 350 feet away, and Sandra Shower, 396 feet away. That's a lot of distance. Guardsmen firing from the top of Blanket Hill at the pagoda wounded Joseph J. Lewis, closest at 75 feet away. John R. Cleary at 105 feet. James Russell, Thomas M. Grace at 163 feet. Alan Camphora, 176 feet. Dean R. Cowler at 258 feet. Douglas, yeah, and I'm pretty much almost done anyways, but there you go. Douglas Allen Rentmore at 296 feet. Robert Folis Stamps at 488. And Donald Scott McKenzie at 603 feet. Wow. He was the unluckiest of all of them. All of the wounded, of course. I mean, they're the unluckiest. They're the ones that died. I'm going to get down to that here in a second. But John R. Cleary lies wounded in the chest. He survived the shooting. Students do what they can to protect and care for the wounded classmates. Mary Ann Rico calls out over the body of Jeffrey Miller. His wound was fatal. Just after midnight on May 15th, Mississippi patrolmen and Jackson police kill Philip Lafayette Gibbs and James Earl Green and wound dozens at Jackson State College. Since 1971, Kent State students have linked the events with the slogan, "Long live the spirit of Kent and Jackson State." Now, that sign says, "Your silence will be studied by your grandkids." Is there another side? Nope. So yeah, there were definitely people here expecting some form of a protest today. And this is the official entry where I started. But I started like on the other side of these dumpsters. We're back to the beginning, but we still have one more plaque to read off. And that's plaque number 7, which also ends right by the start. I'd say full circle, but it does like a figure 8 with a big bottom. Big bottom eights. Yeah, big bottom eights. So, they still haven't gotten to the chairs yet. Now, I know it's a lot of work to put that thing together and all, and like to put on these events. But this video alone's been 48 minutes, and I was here for 30 minutes watching them tear it down before. Okay, and there's the final plaque. Further tragedy averted. Immediately after the shootings, hundreds of people reassembled in protest at the Victory Bell. When the guard made clear that protesters must move, they staged a sit-in on the slope facing the Commons, behind Stouffer Johnson Hall. Faculty Marshal Glenn Frank prevented advance on the sit-in by General Canterbury and troops to the front, and by Major Jones and troops to the back. In anguish, Frank pleaded with students, "I don't care whether you've never listened to anyone before in your lives. I'm begging you right now, if you don't disperse right now, they're going to move in, and it can only be a slaughter." The students quietly followed Glenn Frank across the Commons. Martin Luther King would not have stayed. Martin Luther King was a man who understood that to win, you must live. There are too many of you who are too damned good to die in this stinking field here. Mike Lunan, faculty marshal to students at the sit-in. Okay, so hold on. I was about to turn it around, but look at this guy. Look at this guy. Hold up. Where is he? He just zoomed. He came from the top of the hill right here. He just went woo, straight through. I thought it was funny. Reminded me of my scooter days. They got scooters here. Okay, anyways, so today has been a very somber day for me here. Yeah, like me on a scooter. I just got done saying that. But I kind of wish I came a little bit more prepared and came earlier so I could have caught the event they did in remembrance of the forest. Online did say that there was supposed to be one of the Free Palestine protests going on today, so it probably was around the Liberty, or around that bell during the event. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down here for a moment. And yeah. Mom, that wasn't Martin Luther King that said it though. So, opinions. What is going on with the protest today? Like, where are everybody's heads at? My head is kind of confused. I agree with anti-war. There shouldn't be any freaking war. But Hamas are terrorists. And they literally went in and slaughtered Israelis right at the end, before the peace ended. Like, my thoughts are prior in the video. Let's get the comments going. I'm gonna end here in a few minutes so we can get some comments going now, and I'll start talking. Or not. I really care less. I did this for you. Oh, I'm not sponsored by Jolly Rancher in any way. They got these like sour surge Jolly Ranchers now, where it's like a normal Jolly Rancher, but there's like powder inside, and like when it dissolves enough, that powder comes out and it just adds that surge. That's where it gets that surge name. Like, and it's very sour, very good. I love them. Jolly Ranchers aren't the same anymore. You're not my judge, but I don't know what you mean by you guys being invested in my stream. I invest as much as I can. I can't do everyday videos. Oh well. You're very welcome, Adiz. Or Adiz. Thank you, Nurse D. See? I'll do it for you guys. Me, I wanted to come here. I didn't need to do it for you. Or I didn't need to, like, go live. I went live so you guys could see it. Either way, I'm here. That's how it works. YouTube had your notifications turned off. You still made it in here. And you know, it's been supposed to rain since yesterday. It's been cloudy as all hell. And yesterday, it rained a little. Today, it rained for about a minute. Where's this freaking rain?
What happens if they say, Linda, we don't want you here, get the hell out of here? You know what the patient's disrespectful.
That was kind of funny. So. No, he was on the phone. Yeah, he was talking to somebody. And he said, Lena, we don't want you here. Now get the hell out of here. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, huh. I think that's a sign for me to go. But I'm going to wait till it reaches an hour on here, which is in like a minute and a half. So. Last comments, last minute. Say what you want, all you haters. And fans. You're very welcome there, Steve. Good seeing you again. I have been trying to come up with like something I can do steadily that would actually make a difference. Fuck Maryland. I'm in Ohio. And I will say this as well. If I can get on a recording machine, my music recently is lit. Just saying. Anyways, that's an hour. That's the stream, guys. I hope everybody has a very blessed day. Deuces.